We've divided day 4 up into 3 groups. The first one's the Imperial Palace on the 4th of October, and here in the big circle you'll see the palace and garden grounds. We crossed the road to the main bridge. At the front entrance, this is a sign describing the interior of the Imperial Palace. You can pause this if you wish. And this is the entrance to the main area, and we walked around to the right and up a little bit of a hill to the base of the main tower. For the benefit of us tourists, you can pause this if you wish, and it's divided into 9 areas, starting with the main tower, my wife pretending to carry the bricks. So you walk up this bit of a hill, and the anti-climax is that the main tower was destroyed at some stage and all that's left is the foundations. So in 1657 or thereabouts, the main tower was burnt down, and they decided not to rebuild it because they reckon that the shogunate was stable enough, and they didn't have a problem with internal struggles. So we walked up the ramp to the top of the foundation main tower and had a look around. In the distance you'll be able to see the concert hall. We didn't go down there. This talks about the long stretch of land in the garden area that used to be the main building area for the shogunate. We walked through some gardens to the stone cellar, and the gardens are where all the shogunate buildings were. This is the bamboo garden, and some other gardens around the area. They think that the stone cellar was where all the emperor's consorts and other women lived. There was also a double for a shelter. If you pause this and try to read it, it tells you that. Then behind that was the defence house, and it's no longer the towering structure it was. If you pause this, you'll see a photograph of what it was before it was destroyed. And here's a video of walking through the defence house as it is now. It's basically a bit of a museum of what the old defence house was. Then we continued our walk through the gardens, and we reached a point where we could see the Mount Fuji viewing tower. We walked up the hill to that, but we never went inside. If you can see, it's been barred off with some posts, and it was shut down while our visit was on. No idea what the HONMARU rest house was, except that it was a display of the guard houses and other buildings in the centre of the park area, and some other traditional bonsais, for instance. Always amazes me how Japanese artwork is so beautiful and fine detail. Outside the HONMARU was some kind of statue. Some people would say it's just another piece of stone sculpture. I'm sure the Japanese have a reason for it. Up behind the rest house was a lookout where we went up there and had a look over the city and the lower level guard houses, and some people were resting in this area. So we kept moving on from there and walked through and down. There was really more a number of guard houses dividing the main Imperial Palace complex with the guard houses and rest areas for the guards themselves. Then we walked down to the lower level where the guard houses were. Prior to travelling to Japan, I tried to book a tour, a guided tour, and unfortunately it was booked out 2 months in advance, and all of the Imperial Palaces have the same problem of being booked out in advance. So you'll see groups of tourists being escorted around with guides. Now this lower area divides another gate which you walk through to go up to the NINOMARU garden area, and if you pause this you'll see the gardens are divided up into what I think 3 groups, but there's 9 actual attractions that are listed on another sign. This garden area was delightful. My wife really enjoyed. So the NINOMARU gardens were divided up into fruit trees, other trees, sculptured gardens and rest areas and tea room. Here are the tea rooms, and they were closed. But we had a bit of a look around. I think a lot of things were closed because of the typhoon that went through Japan sometime earlier that month. So it was off season, of course, for the fruit trees and other flowering trees. This was the moat area, and it was quite beautiful. You walk down the track and across the moat and into a garden area. And like most Japanese gardens, it was just tranquil and gorgeous to look at, with lots of bonsai type trees and sculptured trees, and I really enjoyed this area. We continued to walk through the moat area and the other gardens around the NINOMARU gardens. Here's some bonsai. This video was produced by myself, and it's the end of another exciting day 4 in the Imperial Palace in Tokyo.